This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, cause of Sunday's oil spill in Eleme, River State yet to be revealed. Strike by e-hailing drivers takes toll on Port Harcourt residents. Man accuses NSCDC official of shooting him. Stakeholders say MOR axis of East-West Road still porous. Suspended EFCC chairman in DSS custody. CBN grants banks freedom to trade forex at any rate. On the foreign scene, Greece records biggest migrant tragedy following boat accident. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Ifeimi Andrew. The Joint Investigation Visit Team investigating the oil spill in Aleto Eleme local government area of Rivers State is yet to conclude its activities at the spill site. The official report on the cause of the spill was expected yesterday, but the Zonal Director of the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, Ime Ekanem, tells correspondent Soebi Oruwari that the report is not ready. The representatives of Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited (SPDC), including environmentalists and representatives from the community, went for an impact assessment of the oil spill on the Okulu River in Aleto. The president of Aleto Youth Organization, Mbade Kenwi, who was also part of the impact assessment team, spoke on the extent of the oil spill.
We'll go to take the coordinates of the area where they can affect. Share representative with us carried out the operation today. We are just coming out from the water. We'll still continue tomorrow. We'll start from the point that we started. We'll get to the estate, which is also a little final estate, to Abuncha area. That is the area so far we can able to cover today. We'll cover a little Kiriwa and Abuncha.
A community representative of Saro Prosperous also spoke.
Time they came for maintenance, that was 2 years ago. The impact of what has happened has gone viral. The river you're seeing is very far because we have a boundary with Okushagon. This river goes to and fro. It has damaged the aquatic animals down to the boundary between we and Okushagon. Everything we have, you can perceive the nature of the environment, how toxic and how poisonous it is. And there are people living here and they should bear the cost and the consequences from it.
On his part, environmentalist Fanface Dumnamene advised the international oil companies to always carry out proper maintenance on their oil installation.
They should take steps to remediate that environment. They should also pay adequate compensation to the people within that area. And they should also take steps to ensure that the spill point is calm and prevented from further spills. One would think that since they are diversing across the country, that they will also take steps to ensure that their pipelines that are now bursting and deflating like balloons would have been addressed and prevent any further oil spills into the fragile Ogoni and Niger Delta environment. So we expect that new spills should not be introduced into the environment because you cannot leave the tap on running while also carrying out the cleanup.
In another development, the federal government is set to establish the first hybrid crude export terminal with 8 million barrels of storage capacity in Rivers State. The Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, made this known while presenting the project license to the company assigned to be in charge of the terminal. Following the planned indefinite strike by the Amalgamated Union of App-Based Transport Workers of Nigeria in 7 days over low fares and high commissions, one of the administrative heads of the union in Rivers State, OJ Elevbare, says the union is determined to see that their conditions are met before they call off the strike. Mr. Elevbare, however, tells our correspondent that negotiations are ongoing.
The operation is a bit skeletal. The app companies have not arrived at a proper conclusion. Yes, they've increased the fares a bit, but they have not increased it to where we want them to increase it. We need them to reduce their commission from 25% to 10 or 15%, which is actually still going to be profitable for them. That has been temporarily called off. We are waiting for further instructions for them because apparently the app companies have reached out and have said they should give them about 7 days to make up come to a resolution. Then further actions will be taken henceforth.
Meanwhile, some Port Harcourt residents who use e-hailing cabs for their daily movements spoke to our correspondent.
I'm actually a pastor. Most times I might probably have to go out for programs. I need a serene and a quiet atmosphere. So trying to go through the hurdles and to public transport might not really be the best option at that moment for my personal sanity and atmosphere.
They should just reduce the commission so that riders and the drivers will now have a soft landing. On 3 different occasions, I've trekked from my office back to home, but there was no ride. A trip I used to take for 700 is now about 1,500 when there is no sun. And good drivers will still not use AC, and you don't blame.
In a distance that would normally pay 1,000 naira, now risen to 3,500. It's really worrisome.
Recall that a peace meeting between e-hailing firms and their drivers on Friday was inconclusive. Moving on, a young man, Chibundu Avara, is lying in hospital and says he was shot by an official of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Rivers State while on a commercial motorcycle. The 23-year-old from Rumekwe community in Emoa local government area spoke to our correspondent from his hospital bed.
I was on a bike around 11 p.m. So the civil defense men, they stopped the bike man and the guy refused to stop. So the thing they did to me was to push me down, and the next thing I received from them was a gunshot. My people don't spend plenty money for this thing we're doing. But the call, I beg, make River State government, make Nigeria government, make them look into my life. I cannot do anything. What do I do? I just enter bike, take on my house. I don't do anything. I'm not even there close to their bike.
His elder brother, Prince Avara, also spoke to our correspondent.
These NICDC operatives, they are working on that shit. We may use this opportunity to reach out to Shell and River State government and Nigeria as a whole to come to the aid of this young man that was shot unduly. He has family and he has responsibilities to take care of. The hospital bill and the rest. They have damaged his leg. You need to see X-ray results. The bone cut into 2. So we call on our government, Shell, petroleum company, and other women in Nigeria to come to our aid and see that justice is being met firstly, and is given adequate treatment. His family and his needs are being met during this period.
The River State Command of the NSCDC is yet to respond to messages sent to them on this. A middle-aged man who is among 3 people kidnapped on Sunday along Rumodogo, Emoha River State axis of the East-West Road, has regained his freedom. The victim from Rumosi community in Obiakwa local government area told our correspondent that he was released yesterday after paying a ransom.
More than 15 inside bush, well loaded with AK. So what they did is to collect the other woman, the driver, or they collect the woman's phone. Then they ask the woman, how much do you have? The man said, I have 5 million. From 5 million, they do. So they press the woman. The woman now need to tax short people up to 10,200,000. That's what they collected from the woman. The whole POS machine carry the woman cards, lock there, collect the woman. Now minding the bullet where the woman they bleed, scatter the woman jeep. No let God rescue me. If not, those people their mind they back. Now 3 of us when they kidnap. Now 3 of us will come back.
On his part, the CDC Secretary of Rumosi Community, Joseph Ibeowote, called on the police to tighten security along Emoa axis of the East-West Road.
The River State government and the security apparatus should tighten up their security formations. This thing is becoming something that we are not palatable with. How would someone going on his personal routine and at the end of the day, he's not going to come back home safely? Something should be done swiftly to curb this security mayhem. We have a lot of security checkpoints in that particular East-West road, and these things are happening.
Scores of relatives of the freed man who gathered at his residence following his release also spoke to our correspondent.
The man is my good friend, he's my brother too. I asked him to accompany me to my mother-in-law's place to settle some matters. On the way coming back, we reached at Odohemowa area. We saw kidnappers. They started shooting us. I escaped.
This is unfortunate that we had this news on Sunday that he was kidnapped. Where they kidnapped him is a territory of war they are madding inside his own village. Our brother that just released today, it is by special grace of God. And we will also thank our Almighty God for him to come back alive. The local government chairman of Emoha local government, he should do something over the because it is too bad.
Suspended chairman of the EFCC, Abdul Rashid Bawa, is currently in custody of the Department of State Services. Spokesperson of the DSS, Peter Afunaya, said this in a statement last night. Mr. Afunaya said Mr. Bawa was invited by the DSS in relation to some investigative activities concerning him. Earlier, yesterday, Mr. Bawa was suspended by President Bola Tinubu indefinitely following weighty allegations of abuse of office. In a statement by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the President ordered Mr. Bawa's suspension to allow for proper investigation into his conduct while in office. A new acting chairman of EFCC, Mohammed Umar Abba, has emerged. Still ahead, CBN grants banks freedom to trade forex at any rate. Stay tuned. In exchange at any rate. The authorization means that banks can now have the power to sell forex at a market-determined rate. Reacting to this, an economist, Andrew Nevin, said the unification of foreign exchange rates will impact the country by boosting investment opportunities in Nigeria. The national president of the Association of Senior Staff of Bank, Insurance and Financial Institutions, ASBIFI, Olusoji Olawole, has called for a speedy investigation on charges of terrorism leveled against the CBN governor. Godwin Emefiele, Mr. Olawole, said President's order for the CBN's governor suspension was to allow for proper investigation. He said this on Nigerian Info's Morning Crossfire.
That for the president to have given that kind of order, it means that he had enough information to ask the governor to go on suspension. Now, going on suspension does not entirely mean guilt. Asking someone to go on suspension or go on leave simply means that you need to give room for proper investigation to go on unhindered. We know that the CBN governor has been taken into custody. In the very near future, the government should be able, or the security agencies should be able to come up and tell us what charges they have leveled and what they are basing those charges on.
The financial expert also urged the Nigerians to be patient with the new administration on the availability of the new Naira notes, adding that the scarcity experienced earlier this year would not reoccur in December when the Supreme Court order on the Naira might take effect.
Let us give the new government time, a couple of weeks, and see what they will come up with. I do not believe after the hardship that occurred, after the statements that were made by the governors who took CBN and the federal government to court at that time, all the things that happened, the attacks and all the rest, I do not believe that this government will wait till that time before they say anything or do anything. I will be surprised if they allow this same kind of hardship to occur again in December. So like I said, let's give them time.
Recall that the Supreme Court ruled that the old 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes remain valid till 31st of December 2023. The court held that the directive of former President Muhammadu Buhari for the redesign of the old notes and withdrawal of the old notes without due consultation was invalid. The federal government says it has begun putting all necessary measures in place to ensure student loans begin between September and October 2023. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Andrew Adejo, who said this while speaking to newsmen in Abuja, said President Tinubu has already approved a committee made up of ministries and agencies to see the realization of the student loan bill he recently assented to. Acting Director of Armed Forces Blood Donor, Port Harcourt, David Olurfemi, is calling on residents to become regular blood donors, which is part of service to humanity in saving lives. Lieutenant Colonel Olurfemi said this while speaking on the occasion of the World Blood Donor Day.
As we are speaking, somebody somewhere is needing blood. So we need to keep giving blood so that the people who are in need will live. Otherwise, if we said it's not my responsibility to give, a lot of people will die. Blood, presently, as we are speaking now, there is no pharmaceutical industry where blood is being manufactured. There is no place. You can't go to any shelf and say it's being produced in social place and it's being hung there. You are sharing part of your own life with fellow human beings so that person can live. Then share often means you should come back and be doing it. You should be doing it regularly. You should be doing it happily without expecting anybody to give you anything.
Meanwhile, some residents of Port Harcourt spoke on the poor enlightenment level and the need for health sectors and other agencies to set up programs that would encourage donors.
There is no proper awareness currently, and that is what is needed now. Mostly the health organization should go about it, informing people, mostly young people, on how to do it.
I've not gotten the opportunity, but given the opportunity, I would like to donate blood.
So many persons are not aware that they can actually donate blood. So this is something that people need to be educated, and also the national orientation agencies need to do more work. Seminars or doing work by hospitals trying to make people understand, as in going to the market, going to the university, going to the street to enlighten people.
International Blood Donor Day is marked every 14th of June, and the theme for the 2023 World Blood Donor Day is Give Blood, Give Plasma, Share Often.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
At least 79 people have died and more than 100 have been rescued after their fishing vessel capsized off the coast of southern Greece. But survivors and Greek officials say that hundreds more migrants were on board. The government says this is one of Greece's biggest migrant tragedies and has declared 3 days of mourning.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, you heard the cause of Sunday's oil spill in Eleme River State is yet to be revealed. Strike by e-hailing drivers takes toll on Port Harcourt residents. Man accuses NSADC official of shooting him. Stakeholders say Emoha axis of East-West Road still porous. Suspended EFCC chairman in DSS custody. CBN grants banks freedom to trade forex at any rate. On the foreign scene, Greece records biggest migrant tragedy following boat accident. The news was edited by Choma Ezewafo. Cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this morning. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Good morning.